Good morning, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. My name is Caitlin. I'm a mama too. I have two little girls. One is Mia and the other is Zoe. Zoe's 5, Mia's almost 2. That's why I'm filming this video, because her birthday is coming up, and so I thought it would be a nice way of kind of like introducing you to Mia, and to also have this video for Mia when she gets older. So I have on my phone kind of like an order of everything so that I don't mix anything up or get it out of order or whatever. So this is going to be basically Mia's labor and delivery story up until where she's at now. So to start with, we decided we wanted to have another kid. So in May of 2017 is when I got pregnant with Mia. I found out I was pregnant one night. Was getting ready to get in the shower. I had one pregnancy test left, so I decided to take it before I got in the shower. I took it, I set it up on the dresser. I was like, not pregnant. I took a few pregnancy tests before that one, so I was pretty sure I wasn't pregnant. I got in the shower, got out, went in the living room. I forgot about the pregnancy. I come back in here and I see it laying up there. I was like, oh, I need to throw that away. Looked at it and I was pregnant. Looks like Zoe's gonna have a brother or a sister. Zoe, do you want a baby brother or a baby sister?
Baby, I have a sister.
A sister? Another little stinking rotten girl. That's how I found out I was pregnant. That night, I took a shirt of Zoe's, inside out was it, and wrote big sister or something like that on it. This is her with her little shirt on that says she's gonna be a big sister, and this is how I told Jimmy. Here he comes. You ready? Zoe, what's your shirt say?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I got pulled.
So he was at work. I took the pregnancy test and wrapped it up. Of course, when he got home, he was like, oh, I know what this is. Or he said, I think he said, oh, I wonder what this is. But he never noticed Zoe's shirt she was wearing, which was kind of funny. But that's how I told him that I was actually pregnant. And it was funny because I thought, I just knew for sure that I wasn't, that we hadn't gotten pregnant in May. So I was like expecting to start my period any minute, and then I didn't. The next thing was we found out what we were having at my nursing graduation, which was pretty exciting. Like after I graduated nursing school and to have my pinning, the day of my pinning, we went to a local restaurant, and my best friend Brittany, she actually got the box, and I'll insert a clip of that also. So this is us finding out what we were having. All right, so we found out it was a girl, and I was super excited. I wanted a girl for Zoe to have a sister. I really didn't care if it was a girl or boy. If it had been a boy, I would have been just as excited, but it was a girl and I was super excited. I just wanted her to have a sister. I was expecting her to come early. Zoe was actually 4 days early, so I expected Mia to be even earlier than that, but it turns out she had other plans. She was pretty content in there, I guess you can say, because she did not want to come out. The day I was due, which was February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, I had a doctor's appointment scheduled to basically schedule an induction or whatever. I had a doctor's appointment scheduled on Tuesday, which would have been the 13th. But that Monday morning on the 12th, I decided to call my doctor's office and see if they would do a membrane sweep that day. They got me in at 9 o'clock that morning. So I went in for the membrane sweep. The doctor who did it was a good doctor. She did the membrane sweep, but she could only get halfway around my cervix because Mia's head was pressing so hard against my cervix. She said she just could not get in between her head and my cervix. After that, I was bleeding a little bit. So instead of going home, I decided to go to Walmart and do some last minute grocery shopping and pick up a last minute stuff that I needed for Mia once she was born. So I go to Walmart, walk around, having contractions the whole time, bleeding. I had to stop and get a pack of pads, go pay for those, go put one on because I was bleeding. I had actually been having contractions like the whole week before. I would start having contractions and then they would stop. I would have them for hours and then I would lay down or stop moving and the contractions would stop. So I figured, like, the way I was feeling at the time was if I stopped moving, then she would probably stop again, like the contractions would stop. I don't think I was dilated much with the membrane sweep. I don't really remember 100% sure what I was, but I was thinking maybe 1 to 2 centimeters or somewhere in there when she did the membrane sweep. So I didn't have much hope. With Zoe, that was a whole different story, which I plan on doing a video like this for Zoe for her birthday, which is in July. After I go to Walmart, contractions started picking up. They were a lot more painful. We got Zoe from school, come home. I cooked supper. I was having contractions the whole time I was cooking supper. I did not think I was in labor. I kind of hoped I was. I was really hoping for labor, but the fact that I've been having those contractions for like a week and then they all of a sudden they'd stop, I just knew, like, once I laid down to go to bed that night, it was probably going to stop, and then I was going to have to get up, go to that appointment and schedule that induction, and I was getting my hopes up. The contractions continued. They were bearable. Some I would have to stop and breathe through, but most were pretty much like kind of just intense period cramping that would last for a good minute or so. I don't know. I never time my contractions. I know it's terrible, but I never think about it. I don't know why. I just never do. I download the apps. I get planned for it. But even with Zoe and Mia, I never timed my contractions. We eat supper. I lay down on the couch for a few minutes. The contractions slow down some. So after all of that, we just decided to go to bed around like 10 o'clock. We put Zoe in the bed with us just in case we actually are in labor. Like, I actually am in labor, which for one, I didn't feel like going and trying to get her to sleep. So we got in the bed, we go to sleep. I'm having contractions on and off through sleeping, but I did sleep. I would say they were coming like every 30 minutes or maybe an hour, I'm not sure, but I was like in and out the whole time. I thought my husband was sleeping beside me, but he was awake the whole time. He said he could kind of feel me moving. He knew, so he could not go to sleep. Zoe was knocked out in between us. Around 2 a.m. I'm like woken up by the contractions, and they're getting like really intense to where I can't go back to sleep, and they're coming maybe, I would say, every 10 minutes at that point. So I can't fall back asleep by the time I have another contraction coming. And it's the kind that like slowly builds, gets really bad, and then slowly tapers away. So that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm probably in labor, so let's wake up Jimmy. So I'm like, Jimmy, and he's like, I've been awake, I knew you was in labor. I lay there for a few more minutes, and then we get Zoe up. Zoe was not happy to be woken up. She was crying and whining. She didn't want Jimmy to do anything for her. So in the middle of being in labor, I was having to get her dressed, put her shoes on, and I felt so weird because I was it was like kind of like a transitional day, I guess, where she was like not going to be my only kid anymore. So I kind of felt like I would do anything for her at that point. Even though I was in such bad pain, I really didn't care. I was like, Jimmy, I'll do it. I don't care. I want to do it. So we got her ready. We called my mom and my grandma, and we left, and we took Zoe to my grandma's, dropped her off, went straight to the hospital. Now, if I have any pictures or videos of anything in this story, I will insert those. so that you can kind of get a visual. I don't know really what kind of pictures or whatever I have. I have to go back and look, which might have been smart before I started this video, but whatever. My sister really wanted to be a part of this delivery. So I called her. She was on the way. So we got to the hospital. My sister was there. My mom, I was only 4 to 5 centimeters dilated, which was very disappointing, because once you find out how my labor went with Zoe, you'll understand why I was so disappointed at finding out I was only 4 to 5 centimeters dilated. And I was doing walking. I was kind of walking around the room. I decided to get into the bed, which I wish I had never gotten to the bed and I just kept walking around. But once you get to the hospital, they kind of want to monitor the baby, make sure the baby's getting oxygen, make sure the baby's heart rate is doing good, which is fine with me. But I wish I just, I don't know, stayed up for a little while. If I had known I was like going to be 4 to 5 centimeters, I probably would have never gotten in the bed. But once I got into the bed, it was like I couldn't get myself back out unless I had to pee or something like that, because I guess I kind of like gotten so tired from being in labor for so long. It was just hard to get up and move. My husband is my biggest partner during labor. He definitely puts in his work. When I'm in labor, he works with me. He rubs my back, he rubs my hips, he massages me, he holds my hand, he gives me whatever I need, he helps me get up. I mean, my husband is an amazing labor coach. He should go into a profession for it. Around 7 a.m. I think is when the doctor come in, and she was like, hey, I think we should break your water. I think your waters is what's holding the baby back from coming out. You have your bag is like there, but the baby's head isn't all the way down. So if we break your water, then I think you'll go ahead and progress and have. So I was like, okay, because at that point I've been dying in pain for so long. I was like, let's just get her out. I try my hardest not to get epidurals or do any kind of pain relief. I wouldn't say I'm against it, because I'm not. When she broke my water, I was around 6 to 7 centimeters dilated. When you break your water, I don't know what happens, but the pain gets so much worse. When she broke my water at 7 a.m., I thought I was dying. The pain was so unbearable. Did get a half a dose of some pain medication at that point, which did not do anything. So personally, it was like shooting in water. I don't know. I didn't feel it in my mind. I didn't feel it in my body. I know a lot of people say like the pain medicine helps them think better, but I didn't feel it at all. So my mom and my sister and my husband were the only people in the room at the time. Well, it come a point that was time for my mom to go to work. She had just started a new job, so she really didn't have a choice, because she had only been there a few days, and if she didn't show up, then there was a potential chance she could get fired. So I told her, I was like, no, it's fine, you can leave, you know, it'll be okay. Alex, my sister, can record it and we'll just show it to you. So she was like, okay. She was really upset. She didn't want to leave, but she didn't really have a choice. So after that, after they broke my water, my labor got really bad, like I said. So I decided to turn in the bed and hold on to the back of the bed on my knees. That seemed to help relieve a lot of the pressure in my back. Once I did that, it was like almost instantly I felt like she kind of calmed down, and I felt like I needed to go ahead and push. I started pushing when I was on my knees. Like I would kind of like squat down and push, and then once the contraction was over, I would kind of stand back up. They went and got the nurse because I was pushing. I was like, I'm pushing, she's coming out, so go get somebody. So they go get the nurse. She comes in there, she's like, I'm gonna check you. She tried to check me while I was backwards and on my knees, and she couldn't. So she was like, can you please just lay on your back so I can check you? I wish I just stayed on my knees and delivered Mia like that, because I feel like when I turned in the bed is when I kind of messed myself up. So I turned over, laid down in the bed. This was around like 8 o'clock. So from time she broke my water, an hour later, I was 10 centimeters and she was coming out. So the doctor come in. The doctor that, since it was it was like 8 a.m., 7 a.m. is shift change. So 8 a.m. I had a new doctor. which was a doctor I preferred more. So I was actually very excited about this. So the doctor comes in and I'm pushing. So he gets gowned up or whatever, and we get up in the stirrups and all that, and we start pushing again. I pushed for what felt like an eternity. It couldn't have been that long, but it felt like I was pushing forever. I could not get her out. It felt like she was there the whole time. I have a birth video of her coming out. Not gonna include that in this video, but I do have actual footage of me pushing her out. She was halfway out the whole time, but for some reason she just would not come out the rest of the way, and I was pushing with all my might. Somewhere in there they tried to use the suction cup to help pull her out. It didn't work. It wouldn't stick to her head. So they attempted it one time. It didn't work. They stopped. So I was like, numb it. It's on fire. So he numbs it, but then it's not too much longer after that she is pushed out. So the numbing didn't even take effect before she was actually out. And he told me, he was like, you don't need it. There's really no point. She'll be out before it works. Alright, so the reason I had such a hard time with getting Mia out was because she was sideways. She was literally facing sideways. Zoe was born in a different position also, but she was facing sideways. Her head was turned sideways. So most babies come out face down, but I did get her out and it was all fine. So after that, I was pushing, finally pushed her out. She was born at 8:49 a.m. and she weighed 7 pounds 9 ounces, and she was 20 inches long. I'll try to include some footage of her. I don't want to include any footage of me. She was healthy, nothing was wrong. She did, when they broke my water, they did notice like a slight amount of meconium in my fluid. So they were kind of worried about her maybe breathing some of that in, but she hadn't. She was perfectly fine. After that, they did skin on skin directly. I breastfed, all of that. So she was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong. I did get stitched up, of course. I don't know how many stitches or anything, but I can tell you from this recovery versus Zoe's recovery, this way to naturally tear is 100% better. And I will kind of go into more detail about that in Zoe's labor and delivery video. So after she was born, you know, we stayed in the hospital for around 24 hours. I think we went home the next morning. So she was born at like 8:49 in the morning, and we went home that following morning. And then we came home, and my mom brought Zoe to meet Mia, and I'll insert some footage of that now.
What's that I got?
It's a baby.
It ain't a baby.
Yes, it is.
Well, what's her name?
Mia.
What did they get her?
You see her? You gotta come in and wash your hands. Do you love her?
Oh, easy with her head.
Look at that face.
Hey, look her blanket.
What do you think, baby?
Is that your sister?
You can give her Shuggy. Oh. So that was Mia. I mean, Zoe and Mia meeting for the first time was just the sweetest thing ever. Like, melted my heart. If you have more than one kid, I'm sure you're aware of that feeling. Like when your firstborn meets your baby, it's just the best. Now I'm just going to include some footage of kind of Mia from birth up until now, which she's 2.
Come on.
Come on. Come on. Uh-oh. Thank you. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Say love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching this video. If you would like to see more, I'll upload on my channel as much as I can. I do work at a local hospital, so if you want to go check out my channel, please do, and I will see you next time. Bye.